The CFO of the world's second biggest brewer is with us now to really run us through these numbers, what it means for the company. Thank you very much indeed for joining us, Mr. Wyman. Good to talk to you. So as we were hearing there, your earnings have just come in. Sales are rising in Asia and Africa. Europe still a bit of a problem spot for you. Do you expect conditions to remain challenging in these northern and western European markets?
Yes, I think we've seen that conditions in developing markets around the world are a lot better than in the developed markets. So we expect challenging conditions in Western and Eastern and Europe, and also in the United States. But in the rest of the developing markets, our businesses are going very well.
A bit of a decline in sales in Latin America, an area of concern for you, I suppose.
Now, Latin America, on the contrary, is actually doing quite well. Volumes were just about flat, but that was affected mainly by a price-related increase to recover some VAT that was added during the beginning of the year, and that's pushed volumes down in Colombia. But other than in Colombia, I think we saw very good volume growth around South America.
And how have excise taxes in countries like Ukraine, Romania, Russia affected you?
Yes, that has been an impact on all businesses in that industry in Central and Eastern Europe. Certainly that's had an impact, and we've seen volumes fall as a result of that.
What will the impact of higher input costs be on your profit next year? Are you hedged for all of your major commodities?
Well, for the first half year, we've had some benefit from falling prices, and our cost of goods sold are down about low single digits. And we expect that to continue into the second half of this year. Looking further ahead into next year, we will see some price increases. There was a fairly difficult harvest in Russia and Ukraine, but the benefit of our widespread portfolio means that we do access the Southern Hemisphere harvest as well, which will come online early next year. So all in all, we would expect some increase, but probably at the low single-digit level for our cost of goods sold next year.
And what are you doing to prepare for further headwinds in Europe? Of course, as you were saying, it's been a difficult market. And also, what are you forecasting for the US, also a trouble spot right now?
Well, in Central and Eastern Europe, I think there things are going to be a little difficult for longer than most other markets. And we have cut back on our overheads and our costs as volumes have been falling, and as you've seen now, although we did have a reduction in profits, it was in single digits. In the United States, on the other hand, although volumes have been falling, we have been taking price increases, we've cut our costs quite significantly, and profits were up in our Miller Coors joint venture by 21%, which I think is a very good outcome.
I just want to ask you about possible acquisitions. Are you looking at buying Foster's in Australia? Will that be something that you pursue?
Well, you know, we do look at acquisitions from time to time, but I'm not at liberty to discuss individual items.
But you're working with JP Chase to study the unit, right?
No, I'm sorry, I can't comment on that.
And have you had any talks with your group Castle partner in Africa about buying them out of the business?
Well, they're in partnerships with us in many parts of Africa, and so we have dialogues about each of our businesses. But as far as as our arrangements are concerned, it's very much business as usual, and we're not in any negotiations to buy our partners.
And analysts say that SAB trails other companies for profitability. Will you launch any further cost-cutting measures in the year ahead?
Well, we have a program of ongoing productivity and cost reduction. So I don't think we really are behind any of our competitors in productivity measures. I think it's that we started earlier. We've been taking costs out for some time, and I think what we're seeing is that some of our competitors are now catching up and doing a lot more on the cost reduction side.
And interestingly, you were speaking there about how price increases in commodities, barley, wheat, are going to affect you, about difficult harvests. And on that note, I want to ask you about the breweries that you've been opening in sub-Saharan Africa to produce a cheaper brand of beer. How is that going? Are you making progress in that initiative?
We are indeed. I think our strategy in Africa is to make beer more affordable. And to do that, we're using lower cost raw materials, still of very, very good quality. And that's allowing us to brew and produce beer at a lower price, and we've seen volumes go up in double digits over the last 12 months.
But are you confident that it will work? Because if I'm not mistaken, the cassava crop that you're using to make the cheaper beer hasn't actually been used in the commercial production of beer anywhere, so this would be a world first, if you like.
It will be, and of course we're doing a lot of trials with that. But we are using other grains at the moment, like sorghum, which are grown locally and cheaper than barley. So we're doing this in a progressive way, and we're testing the different grains. And we have announced that we will be using cassava, and we're running that in a first test at the moment.